Hi there, I just wanted to talk about the Fujica G690. Fujica G690. This is a phenomenal camera. This camera has done me so well over the last couple of months, and I couldn't find any information about this camera, especially on the YouTube, about the lens or the camera specifically. This is the BLP edition. This is a great camera. I figured it was worth talking about more in case you're interested in purchasing this, or if you needed more information or to understand my experience with using this Rangefinder medium format camera. I know this is from the late 60s, early 70s. So it's not the most attractive or new camera that's on the market. It's pretty primitive in the fact that it's manual. People prefer not to get cameras that are full manual, but I have to say that this might be worth something to start off with if you're looking for a medium format camera. This is really and truly an amazing camera. At the end of the video, I'll show some more pictures of the quality, the micro contrasted color that I got from taking pictures with this camera and lens. So let's start off with the lens. The lens is a 100mm. This is also a 6x9 camera. It's the medium format camera. So 100mm is close to 45mm on a 35mm camera. 45 or 50, so this is kind of your standard focal length for a lot of beginners. The shutter speed is a leaf shutter. It goes all the way from 500 to bulb, which is amazing. So you kind of have a full length on your shutter speed. And then in the aperture, you got 3.5 all the way to 32. And I have to say the 3.5 doesn't seem that shallow. And 3.5, the aperture on all cameras is pretty much the same. They all let in the same amount of light, but 3.5 on a medium format has a pretty decent shallow depth of field. It's pretty good. You'll get some good quality, you'll get some depth, it'll show that medium format quality, and it's more than enough you need. You know, it's not like the most phenomenal thing, but it is still really, really good, and you'll be satisfied. The focus ring on here is nice and smooth, really, really smooth. It can focus fairly close, up to 1 meter. So in combination, shutter speed, aperture, and lens, you have a pretty good standard lens that you can use for this medium format camera. So the leaf shutter on here is pretty phenomenal. So then I wish I learned a little bit more about how leaf shutters work when I started with this. At 30, you can still get pretty sharp images. Your images won't be that out of focus or that unclear. At 60, you absolutely can get some sharp images. I started this camera off at 125, thinking that I would only get steady shots there. But then I pulled back to 60, 60 was good, and I pulled back all the way to 30, and 30 was just phenomenal for me. So I was really happy to know that with this camera and this lens and the leaf shutter, you can hold it at 30 and get some pretty good handheld shots. I also want to add that the lens is just beautiful. You get great micro contrast, great sharpness, great color, and the shots I've had are pretty amazing. And it just has a lot of character in it, especially at 3.5, at 1/25. Even past like 1/25 on 3.5, you'll see a lot of the character showing. But once you get to an 8 or 11 at 250th or 500, you'll see that the images are incredibly crisp. And they're almost rendered too accurately, and they show like, they remind me of digital a lot. So I prefer to shoot this camera all the way down at 3.5. On the top over here, we have the 220 and 110 dial. I just keep it at 120. I don't see why you would need to change it to 220, especially in this time of day. And then you have the cock back here, the shutter just for the reel of the film. And the one thing I didn't know about medium format film when I first started off, especially with this camera, you need to cock it twice and a little bit more just to get the reel all the way there. Just keep cocking it back until you can't go any further. That's kind of my frame of reference with this camera. When I first started with this camera, I didn't know that, and I got a lot of double exposures accidentally. But that's just me being a beginner at medium format. Again, this is like more of a hands-on. This isn't a review. I don't have enough experience with medium format camera to give a full review of this. I'm more used to 35mm and 35mm in digital. So at the back here, you have the switch to open up the camera, and you have here for the black curtain. I had the black curtain removed because it was broken with this camera. I didn't think I needed it at all. Black curtains are typically used for switching off the lenses when the film is inside, or switching out the backs of the camera, which you can't do with this camera. But there's typically no need for a black camera with this edition because there's only one lens, and the other lens I think is a little bit rare to find. So inside, you have the spool on the left side here, and you have this kind of switch right here. You just twist it and you pull, and it lets you get the spool out. And then once the spool comes out, you'll take that and you'll put it on the right side over here. Yeah, and that's where you're going to load your film. And you know what, if you like and comment on this video, let me know, and I'll make another video like with a better explanation and showing how to load the camera with film. Otherwise, this is the front view of the camera. It's pretty phenomenal. And again, this is a rangefinder, so you're going to be viewing through that left viewfinder over there. There's a prism inside, and the prism has been like probably the best way I've ever like focused with a film camera. I've gotten really sharp. I haven't missed a ton of images. I haven't missed any images, honestly. When you're looking through the viewfinder, you want to take that prism and you want to try to focus and line it up with the image that you're seeing at. And that's how you keep your images nice and sharp. The hot shoot on the top, I haven't tested enough. I tried it out with one of my newer flashes, and it did not trigger at all. So if you know more information on how the hot shoot works with this camera, please leave a comment below and let me know, because it does not take your standard, it's not a standard hot shoot. You can take the lens off by clicking this button and just like wiggling this ring around, lining it up and pulling it off. And the inside's really clean. And here, that's a leaf shutter right there. Because this is all mechanical, you can kind of open up the leaf shutter and you can kind of see it at the angle, but not really. Hold on one second. I don't know if you can see that, but the blades inside there are opening and closing. So either way, it's a phenomenal camera. There's the lens, here's the body, nothing much inside here. It's just empty where the film goes. So thank you for watching this video. If you have any questions or if you have any more information about this camera, please leave a comment and a like below.